We know exactly why you're here. You don't have a problem creating a budget, but you do have a problem with actually sticking to it, right? We get you, we feel you, and we are here for you. We totally understand how frustrating it is to spend time planning your budget, but only to fail the first week on it. Well, the reality is that most people can actually create a budget, but only a few actually stick to it. So stop being hard on yourself for not being able to keep up with your monthly, weekly, or daily budget. Instead, continue watching this video to help you finally stick to it. Here are 5 tips for you to finally stick to your budget. Tip number 1. Know that there's no right or wrong way to budget. However, you can choose a budget method that actually works for you. You can't say that one method of budgeting is wrong, because when it comes to financial budgeting, there's no one-size-fits-all standard, since it's all about what works best for you personally. To give you an idea, here are some of the budgeting methods that you should check out and consider. Zero-based budget. It's a budgeting method in which each new period's expenses must be justified. Basically, it's about making a strategy for how you'll spend and save every penny you have. The 50-30-20 rule. This budgeting method is a way for you to allocate your budget according to 3 categories, which are your needs, wants, and financial goals. 50% goes to your needs, which are those you can't live without, such as your rent, groceries, and utilities. 30% goes to your wants, which are those things you want but don't actually need to survive. This may include funds for hobbies, vacations, or dining out. And as for the 20%, this goes to your savings. Cash envelope system. Here's another budgeting method that's a good way to track exactly how much you have in each budget category for the month by keeping your cash tucked away in envelopes. By looking at your envelope at the end of each month, you can quickly tell how much money is left. Half payment method. The half payment method is another budgeting method where you take your regular monthly bills and divide them in half. This implies that every time you get paid, you'll set aside half of your bill payment so that you'll be ready when your payments are due in full. This method is perfect, especially for those who receive their payment bi-monthly. Pay your budget every day method. Do you earn daily? Let's say you've been working as a delivery guy and you receive your earnings on a daily basis. Then this budgeting method is for you. Compute all your living expenses for the whole month and then divide it by the number of days you work for a month. That's the amount of money you have to set aside every day to cover your living expenses for the whole month. Remember that there's no perfect method to budget. Feel free to explore and find one method that suits you. Tip number 2. Use tools. You've probably watched some YouTube video that uses a spreadsheet to track their spending, or you've probably seen budgeting apps on Pinterest or a TikTok video of someone writing down expenses on a cute notebook. But here's the thing, no approach is better than another. There are many different kinds of ways to budget, but using tools can actually make your life easier. From the latest to old school tools, here are some budgeting tools to help you finally stick to your budget. Smartphone budgeting apps. Most budgeting apps typically let you connect with your online banking, track spending, and categorize your expenses so you can see where your money goes. However, a lot of apps right now do much more than that. Here are some of the budgeting apps that you should check out. Pocket Guard. This is for simplified budgeting snapshots. YNAB and Every Dollar. This is for zero-based budgeting. Mint. This is for budgeting and credit monitoring. Good Budget. If you have a partner, this is for shared envelope budgeting. Honeydew. Again, if you have a partner, this is for budgeting with him or her. Personal Capital. This is for tracking your wealth and spending. Spreadsheet. If you prefer a highly customizable way to track your income and expenses, use a spreadsheet. You may use both Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets, which offer free budget templates. Of course, if you want a more personal template, you can easily create your own. However, there can be a learning curve to using these programs. Though the good thing is that Microsoft provides free online training lessons on its support website for Office products. In addition, plenty of tutorials can also be found on YouTube. Maintaining a spreadsheet budget may require more time than other options, but the extra effort may help you have a better understanding of your money. As a bonus, if you have a small business or you're planning to put up one, you can then maximize your learnings in managing your business finances. Banking tools. You probably don't know, but free budgeting tools may be as close as your bank's website. Both Bank of America and Connex Credit Union are examples of institutions that provide customers with budgeting resources, where you can track expenses, run spending reports, and even export data to spreadsheets if you want a more comprehensive review of your progress. Pen and paper. A little old school? Don't worry. If it works for you, then stick to it. Using these very simple yet easy-to-use tools involves writing down all your expenses, from monthly bills to small discretionary purchases, such as morning coffee or lunches. Then, categorize these expenses according to whether they are needs or wants. Next, write your income. Lastly, earmark your income for your needs first, and any money left over can then be spent on your wants. Now, if your expenses exceed your income, you'll need to determine what changes you have to make. Envelopes. Here's another budgeting method for old schools and proud fellows out there. Using envelopes involves placing cash into envelopes marked for major budget categories such as groceries, clothing, and dining out. It makes it easy to see how much money is available for each spending category. Tip number 3. Find an accountability partner. What is an accountability partner? It is basically someone who agrees to help cheer you on and make sure that you're keeping on track with your financial goals. Accountability is a powerful tool for achieving your financial and budgeting goals. Having someone in your life that you can be accountable to will exponentially increase your effectiveness and finally sticking with your budget. Here are 3 options to consider in finding your accountability partner. Family, partner, or friends. Of course, the people who are close to your heart are the best accountability partners. Tell your family, partner, or friends what you are trying to accomplish and ask for their support. Tell them the reason why you want to stick to your goals and how their support and encouragement would mean the world to you. Also, tell them how it would actually help you achieve your goals and financial dreams. It would be better if they are also trying to achieve a certain goal, so you could be an accountability partner for each other. Habit tracking apps. Are you a little shy about involving the people around you? Don't worry, you can always maximize the use of your smartphones by using habit tracking apps. These apps are designed to help you set goals and keep track of your habits. Here are the best habit tracker apps that you should check out. Stick, Momentum Habit Tracker, Habitica, Productive Habit Tracker, Habit Share, Streaks, Habit List, Balanced, Simple Habit Tracker, Habitable. Social media. If you think that the other 2 won't work for you, then maybe it's time to turn on social media. Start sharing your goals on your Instagram stories, and then update your audience regarding your progress every now and then. The feeling of having an audience to hold you accountable does wonders. Tip number 4. Identify your spending triggers and try to avoid them as much as you can. What exactly do we mean when we say spending trigger? It is an emotion that causes us to give in to spending temptations. Now, here are the common spending triggers, and try to find out which one is yours. Stress. According to psychology, one of the biggest spending triggers is stress. As human beings, we hate feeling stressed and we love to find quick relief, and in most cases, spending can give us that feeling of quick relief. So the next time you feel like splurging your money, take a pause and think if maybe you are just stressed. Spending too much could create lasting financial problems and make your stress even worse. Social pressure. You may believe that your days of submitting to peer pressure in middle school are over. However, most people still have the desire to keep up with others, even in adulthood, which can lead to excessive spending. When people spend more than they make and go into debt just to maintain a specific lifestyle, problems arise. So the next time you'll make a purchase, ask yourself whether it's something you actually want or just something you want to impress others. Credit cards. According to a study, customers are willing to pay more for the same item when using credit rather than cash. Why? Because they don't feel the pain of parting with cash. So, before you reach for your credit card, consider whether you'd be willing to pay the same amount in cash. Also, remember to only charge what you can pay off each month. Retailer tactics. Do you often buy things because it's on sale? Well, are you sure that it's on sale, or maybe it's just a tactic? Remember, just because something is on sale doesn't mean you have to buy it. To help you keep to your budget goals, avoid giving in to these temptations. Even if the price has been reduced, if it wasn't a previously anticipated expense, you're essentially spending money you didn't budget for. Now, which one do you think is your trigger? Try your best to avoid them the next time you feel like giving in to the temptation of spending. Tip number 5. Be kind to yourself and think of budgeting as a habit that takes time to learn. Budgeting isn't something that most of us are naturally good at. It takes time to establish this skill and habit. Think of budgeting as something similar to running. If you've never run a mile before, a half-mile marathon is probably not the best place to start. Most likely, you'll begin with a lesser target, like walking for 20 minutes or jogging for 1 mile. Then gradually increase your distance as your endurance improves. Did you forget to budget last week? That's okay. It's not the end of the world just because you forgot or went over budget for a month. Simply maintain budgeting and evaluating your expenses to ensure that the week of forgetting does not snowball into a whole year. Little mishaps are perfectly natural, so don't be too anxious about them. Budgeting frequently requires some trial and error. It could be increasing or decreasing your spending restrictions, attempting a different approach, or trying a new app. Just remember that it's a habit that takes time to learn as long as you keep on making an effort to make it work. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Again, here are the 5 tips for you to finally stick to your budget. Tip number 1. Know that there's no right or wrong way to budget. However, you can choose a budget method that actually works for you. Tip number 2. Use tools. Tip number 3. Find an accountability partner. Tip number 4. Identify your spending triggers and try to avoid them as much as you can. And lastly, tip number 5. Be kind to yourself and think of budgeting as a habit that takes time to learn. Here's a reminder from your friends here at Money Mastery. It will take time to master your budget, but you will get there. We are rooting for you. Do you also use a budget? Share what helps you stay on track in the comments section below. And don't forget to share this video with your friends so we can all prosper together.